AFC Bournemouth versus West Ham United. It's a huge game, this one. Really big. I think it's 14th versus 15th. Bournemouth 14th, West Ham 15th. That's right. I think they're a point ahead of us in the league at the moment. We do have a game in hand, of course. The obvious easy 3 points against Man City. That's obviously going to happen. It's one of them games now that if this had been about a month ago, I'd be dreading it. I'd be absolutely dreading this game, thinking, "Oh well, God, I don't want to watch it." You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not cocky. I'm not going to just go, "Hey, 3 points, lovely jubbly." I'm not feeling like that at all. Actually, what I am feeling though is I'm feeling optimistic. I feel like at least I'm expecting us to put in a good performance now. I feel like that's where we're at now. We're starting to see good performances from West Ham. It's going to be very interesting to see how David Moyes now approaches these games going forward, because it's almost like I'm really hoping the pennies drop with this manager and he can go, right, do you know what actually works better? If we just attack, if we actually play with some, gives teams a game, it works better. The fans are on side. Everyone enjoys it. It's just better. Keep sitting back and being protective all the time and desperately trying just to nick a win and it doesn't really work. And fans get fed up. Look, fans would accept it if it worked. I don't think fans mind sitting back and playing counter attack or nicking a goal here and there if it works. You know, even if it's not great to watch. The problem is this season we've been doing it. It's awful to watch. We've not been getting the results. That's where the anger's kicked in. You feel at West Ham, but. Now we've sort of taken a bit of a shift because I don't think it's down to fluke. Some people have suggested that when we played Arsenal, the players sort of took it into their own hands, and it was only because we went 2-0 down. That's why we attacked. I don't believe that. I actually think we started on the front foot. I think David Moyes instructed that and said, "No, let's just give them a game. Let's go for it. Play a high press. It works. It bloody works. Force them to make mistakes. Get in their faces. It works." I just want to see him carry this on now. Don't change it. It's working. Whatever we're doing now, it's working. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see us revert back to defending or trying to cling on and all that, you know, from minute 1 to 90. I don't want to see that. Let's just go for it. Bournemouth. I've got to say, talking about Bournemouth, usually I do a preview of Riley on this one. So this is just going to be my thoughts. Obviously, Riley will be here for the review after the game. So I'm just going to give my thoughts on Bournemouth. Do you know what? I really got a soft spot for Bournemouth, by the way. My missus is from Bournemouth, so I met her there. I pretty much lived, for a few years down there, so I know it really well. I've got a real soft spot for that place and the club. I really like them. And it's even further cemented this season. They were gone. They were absolutely gone. When we were talking about, if you rewind back 2 months, was it maybe about 2 months ago? We were talking about who we think is going to go down. Southampton and Bournemouth were gone. Everyone was going, well, they've got no chance. They've got no. I said it. They haven't got enough quality in the side. This is going to be too hard for them. As much as I love Gary ONeal, well, love him, but I like him, admire him. But I've got to say, I didn't have much hope for them. I didn't have much faith that they'd be able to do what they've done. They have done really well. They have turned it around amazingly, and so much so they're nearly safe. They beat West Ham. They're on 34 points with like 6 games to go. Then you've got to get a couple. These 30. Let's be right. 36 points this season will be enough to keep us up. I think that's realistic. The reality of it. Bournemouth are nearly there. They're probably going to survive. Well, actually, when I say probably, they are going to survive. They will survive. Their chances of going down, it'd be an almighty collapse. They're playing well, really well. If you remember back when Bournemouth were promoted, I was looking at this, that's why I've got my notes here. It was 2015, it was 8 years ago. I remember when they came up and it was almost like a bit like a joke, like, oh, bloody hell. No, don't get me wrong. Everyone was like, oh, brilliant, lovely for Bournemouth, but they're not going to survive. No chance. They've got 11,000 seats at their stadium still. And they've been in the Premier League for a long time. I appreciate they've only just come back up. They did get relegated for a couple of years, but ultimately they've been in the league, in that period. They've only been down for 2. So they've been up since they got promoted. They've been up for 6 years with a slight relegation near the end. But I mean, and even then they came back up and they look really good. They've recruited really well. I mean, they look a very, very good side. As I've just touched on, Gary ONeal, former West Ham player. I really like Gary ONeal, really admire him. I think he's done a great job. He talks so well and he comes across so cool and calm and deals with things very well. I remember when we beat them earlier this season, I think it was 3-1, was it? Hang on, I've probably got a number written down somewhere. I think we did. Hang on, we did. Hang on, 2-0. Sorry, it wasn't 3-1. It's 2-0. We beat him 2-0. And he talked to the press after the game. He came across really well, and that's what I took notice him. Really, I thought, God, he's pretty good, Gary ONeal. You know, I think at that time he might have been caretaker. He's done really well at that club. Looks very settled. He looks very assured of himself. He's done himself no harm at all in his career. He looks a good manager. Really like him. And obviously, I've always got a soft spot for him because he's former West Ham, of course. But I certainly won't on Sunday. You know, put that aside. I won't be having a soft spot for him then. I want us to beat him. We've got, you know, and after the form we're on, why not? Players, I wrote down 2 players I really like at Bournemouth. There's a few players I like. Billing, really rate him. I think I talked about him previously as well in another video when we did the preview. He's good. He's a really good midfielder. He's one of them that just gets stuck in and reliable. He's a big player for Bournemouth. He really is. He's one of them that kind of goes under the radar in a weird way. Do you know what I mean? Like some that you can't imagine the big clubs are looking at players like him or whatever. But he's a really good midfielder. Just does the work. I really rate him. He works very hard and, yeah, really impressive player. And it had to do at Solanke. I mean, what a player. He scored, I think, 30 goals last season, all competitions, if I remember that rightly. Yeah, 30 goals for them last season when they got promoted. 6 this year in the Premier League. I mean, yeah, it's not wonderful, but it's not bad. You know what I mean? It's for this level, you know, considering the fact they're down the bottom all season and trying to battle out of it, he's done well. He's a good player. They're a good side. I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be a bloody hard game at the Vitality. Very hard. I'm just looking at our form there. So actually, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about Bournemouth form first. Bournemouth, they're doing really well. So the last 6 games, they've won 4. No draws and 2 defeats. Obviously, the last result for them was against Tottenham. They won 3-2 with a really sort of crazy end to the game. Look, it weren't good for West Ham, but bloody hell, I'm always happy to watch Tottenham lose. Sorry if you're a Tottenham fan to see that, but it's true, isn't it? I don't care. I did enjoy that moment. It was quite funny to watch. And even that didn't do us a favour, but I still thought, you know, I don't know what, I'm going to take it. I don't mind it. I know, as I say, I quite like Bournemouth. The only injuries they got for this game, David Brooks, he's out at the moment. I think he's a bit unsure when he's going to be back and what's going on with him and all that. So he's the only one out. I think they've got a pretty much full strength squad. This is going to be a really tough game for West Ham. We've got to be really up for it because it's one of them now. A draw wouldn't be a bad result for both sides. I think actually a draw would be pretty good for both sides in a sense because we both sort of keep going where we're going. We're all right. A win would obviously be amazing. For either side. West Ham, if we can get 3 points at Bournemouth, wow, that would be all but sure, all but safe. Then in my mind, if I was thinking in my mind, if West Ham beat Bournemouth, then in my mind, I'm thinking we're 95% safe. I'd actually start to relax a little bit now. So I'll tell you what, if we beat Bournemouth, I'll actually start to enjoy the season. I actually wouldn't get too nervous anymore. I'm probably thinking, yeah, we've got Liverpool. If we don't win that, it's not too bad. We'll get some points now. That's the way I'd start feeling. If we lose to Bournemouth, I'd start to get a bit anxious again. Start thinking, oh God, we're not going to cock this up again, are we? Do you know what I mean? So I really want us to get a result. I really do. I would say about Bournemouth, though, the only thing, although people were saying, well, yeah, they were on a very good run of form, they've got some results, and they have. I'm not knocking that. The one thing I would say about the Spurs game is I think they were actually a little bit fortunate. I might be being a bit harsh there. Let me know what you think. I might be being a bit harsh. But I thought they were a little bit fortunate in that match. I thought that Tottenham just really cocked it up. I don't know what's going on at Tottenham. They're just a bit of a shambles at the moment. From top to bottom. I don't know what's going on. But I think actually that kind of probably... Don't get me wrong, Bournemouth played well. Then they got the result. But all I'm saying is they're not smashing teams. They look amazing. They're just playing. They're playing all right. They played okay at Tottenham and they got the result. It's fair play. What my point is with that is that with West Ham, we played really well against Arsenal. We played really well against Ghent. Probably better in the Arsenal game, but we're playing well, playing really well. That's where I've got a little bit of confidence now. I'm thinking if we can play really well here, we can beat this lot. We can get at them. We've got better players than them. We have. I'm not knocking it. We have. Do you know what? I'm feeling a bit confident for it. Feeling pretty good. West Ham. Actually, I'll tell you what, before we go on, I'll talk about the records of the game. So the last 3 times we played Bournemouth, we beat them earlier in the season 2-0, as I talked about earlier. The season before that, we beat them at home 4-0 This is the 2019-2020 season, and then we drew away 2-2. So we haven't actually got a bad record against Bournemouth, actually. It's not bad. 2 wins and a draw the last time, 3 times we played them, which is pretty good. West Ham then. Right, West Ham United. We're in good form. We're in really good form. There's no reason why West Ham can't go and win this match. That's how I'm feeling. I'm not cocky, as I've said. Sorry about that, spitting on you. Not cocky at all. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not going into this thinking, oh yeah, 3 points, lovely jubbly. I know it's going to be a very hard game, but I've got a bit of confidence about me. I'm starting to feel pretty good. I'm starting to be a bit optimistic. I love this feeling. And I think the players will feel that way. I imagine their players will feel like I feel and you feel, I'm sure, is that, when you're playing well, you just want the game to happen. I want to play tonight. Why aren't we playing now? Do you know what I mean? I can't wait. I'm really excited. That's where I'm at. In terms of the players, then, in terms of what's going on, Ogbonna available again. I believe he was suspended for the Ghent game, and also he was injured, wasn't he, for the Arsenal game? Picked up very minor though. Ex-WHU employee on Patreon, our brilliant service, £5 a month. Honestly, if you're not on Patreon, just have a little go. Give it a go. Honestly, it's a £5. It's so worth it. You got Mad Dog, Martin Allen goes on there once a week. You got the podcast with David Next. You got ex-players. You got exclusive news. You get the team, right? You literally get the team before the press get it. You'll get it early on your phone. Extra say, there you go. That's the team. That's what's going on today. So literally, it's amazing. So it's brilliant. Honestly, really worth it. So there's many other things we'll do. We're going to do proper adverts on this. It's not always going to be this shoddy, I promise. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, do. Well, we'll put it in the description below. But it's www.patreon.com/the West Ham Way. Sorry, back to the football then. Ogbonna back in contention, which is good. We've basically got a fully fit squad. A fully fit squad apart from Skamaka, which is no real blow to us now because he hasn't really played for ages. So do you know what I mean? It's not like you're going, oh God. It's not like you suddenly lost Rice or Paqueta or something. You go, oh God, how are we going to cope with it? You kind of think, well, we haven't really had him, so it's not a big blow for us. If I did another video and I actually said that I actually think it's a blessing in a way because it gives Skamaka the time to go away, sort of get himself better, get himself ready for the new season. I actually don't think it's the end of the world. In terms of West Ham, then we need 5 or 6 points for survival. Really, that's where we are now. I would say, well, actually, no, 6 or 7. 6 or 7, I would say, probably we need. Look, it's a big game for us. We want the points. We want to go and get the result. It will keep the momentum going. All I'm going to say about this is, David Moyes, please don't change anything. Please don't revert back to what we've been doing in the months prior to all this. Please don't be deluded and think that the reason being, that your tactics have worked previously. They hadn't. I really hope that he's just woken up now and gone, this is the best way to play. Just go at teams. It suits us so much better. And it lifts the fans. It gets the fans on side. This is why the fans have been booing you, Moyes. This is why we've been so annoyed, because the football's been rubbish. And if people don't mind the football being overly rubbish if you're winning, but when you're playing rubbish but not winning, it's just a terrible combination. So just give it a go. Just go there with confidence and go, do you know what? If I say to players, just play like you did against Arsenal, go for it. You can bully them. You can win this game. I think we are going to be up for it. I really do. I bloody hope so anyway. Predictions for this game. I'd love to know your predictions. But let me know what you think. I'm going to go with a draw. I think it's going to be a tough game there. And do you know what? I think a draw will be good for both clubs. I don't think it's that bad. I think both clubs will be pretty acceptable. I'm not saying that we'll be going for a draw. We'll be going to win. I hope we win. I'm going to say 1-1. I think it's going to be a bit of a tough one, that. But I'd like to think we've got enough about us now that we won't lose, that we can go there and get something, and we can take it a good result, a good point, and then take it into next week. I hope it's 3 points, though. And why won't it be? Who knows? But, yeah, I'm going with a draw. Come on, you irons.